There's a magic in human design, and there's a magic in living in your authority. And that's what I think this whole thing's about, is really understanding the human journey and living in alignment with yourself and the way that humanity was meant to be. And from that, when you are, the next phase of your life, the next stage of your life gets really crystal clear. Hi, I'm Dr. Kieran Kirkendall, and I am a 1-4 manifesting generator with 3 channels, and I've known about human design for about 2 or 3 years. I ran a really successful functional medicine and natural medicine practice in Austin, Texas for about 15 years. I saw over 40,000 patient visits. And I got to the top of this mountain I thought I always wanted. And when I got to the top, it was really meaningful for me to do that and see all of these clients, but at some point it just became monotonous. I've found that if I don't actually take care of myself first, so to speak, put my own oxygen mask on before I work with everyone else, it completely depletes me. One of the traps in life is like needing to prove yourself, and that pulled me away from my own inner knowing, my sacral authority. I was trying to prove myself to be worthy, to prove myself to be valuable. I really wanted to be super doctor, learn more, learn more, learn more. People are like, oh, we love you, Dr. K, and it made my ego feel really good. But the reality is deep down in my inner knowing, I needed to leave. And so all of these really, really difficult things started to show up in my life. There was an embezzlement of over $250,000 in my practice. My arm, in a terrible accident, that was a freak accident. And when I finally sat with the pain and the money all the stuff that had gone out of my bank account, it was like, this is time to go. So I let all my patients know, hey, you've got 2 months, and I said goodbye. On the beginning of this journey, I must say, I didn't really understand human design at all. I didn't have any concept for it, and I just thought I was going insane. In the last 7 years of travel, I just committed to listening. It was my whole inner thing, and apparently I was committing to my sacral authority. I didn't really know it at the time. I wanted to test it. I was testing it in my own life, and it was a struggle. It was really wrestling with it because my mind was saying, get a job, loser, And people would offer me deals like, hey, invest in this and do that, and all these really great things. But there was an inner knowing like, that's not it. And it was really scary. It wasn't easy. I would definitely consider myself an empath. You feel other people's stuff, you pick up their emotions, you pick up the emotions of a crowd. That's why I love nature, because she's always good. And when I'm out there and I'm in connection with myself and nature, I feel like I can really hear that sacral authority. I can really feel what it is that I'm guided to next, and allows me to move through things. For me, the word power brings up authority in myself. And when I say authority, I mean like my center of power, my connection, my groundedness, that it's not coming from my mind, but it's coming from a deeper level. It's coming from a sense of purpose. It's coming from a sense of knowing. And so it's actually something that will go out and bless the world and be of support for the world. And it makes me move really quick, and then I sit next to the river and I have to sit really quiet, and I don't move at all, but then I get the clarity of what to do next, and that power returns. It's the way I kind of move all the leaves and the rocks and the sticks out of the river of life, so to speak, and then that flow comes back through. And that's really been the most magical thing for me, is the energy that's able to come through now. As an individual in human design, I often struggle with being in the feeling of like isolation and being alone, and it can create a lot of like low mood. I know when I was a kid, I struggled with a lot of depression, and I always wondered, like, why am I struggling so much with like searching and needing a meaning and like fulfilling some big event in my life? And it was really this underlining channel, I feel like, that was giving me so much of this push, because I was like really like always searching. The channel of struggle, like once I really understood it, it helped me understand who I am and what I am and how I'm literally created to actually be and serve and work in the world. I would have these amazing experiences and constantly changing and being in different environments, but it would always seem like I was kind of on my own. Like I've even said, I don't want to see the next beautiful sunset in this part of the world and just be fully alone. And the way I work with it, the way I actually process this, is to go into nature and just sit with it. And so I sit and I feel whatever that is, the sadness, the aloneness. Say, well, why would you do that? That sounds terrible. It's because you allow yourself to experience what is. because I'm just confused, I'm lost, whatever, I'm struggling. And when I'm able to sit with it, it starts to move. And recognizing it's not who you are, it's just a state of consciousness. And so understanding those states of consciousness and being with what is allows it to shift. I know if I just keep listening to that deeper calling of where I'm called and what my work is, my purpose is here, that actually lifts the depression. It shifts all of that, and I move out of the sadness and I'm back in the motion that I'm wanting to create and bring in. So the way I'm currently going through the human design experiment of my life is by listening in my authority, and also really looking at, like with Richard Rudd's work, I think it's super complementary to human design, because I was able to look at specific gene keys and say, oh my gosh, literally I have that. And for example, one of them is going from victim to freedom to freedom. And so what do you do with that? And for me, I just go and I sit in victim mode. I go and sit by the river, or I'm on my couch and I sit, whatever's showing up in my life. Where do I feel like a victim? I'm a victim to this money thing. I'm a victim to not having clarity. And I just sit and I feel it, and I feel so victimized, and I'm victimized by myself, victimized by the world, by the situation of the economy. And by doing that, and I get really present to what it feels like, it's like shining a light on your consciousness, and it allows you to really see, like, this is the monster under the bed. And when you really sit in it, it starts to become a teddy bear. You're like, oh look honey, it's just a teddy bear. There's no monster under the bed. It's just a sweet little thing. And after that, then you're like able to move forward, and you're out of victim and you're moving more into freedom. By doing the feeling work, it opens you back up, it clears all the stuff, your authority comes back in, and then you can take action again and actually know and get the experience of like, wow, this is actually working. Because it's now just not knowledge and a bunch of stuff you're learning, because gene keys and human design can be really a lot of information, but you're getting all this knowledge, you're applying it to your life, and applied knowledge is wisdom. And then you get wisdom, and then you're like, oh my God, this thing is flowing. There's something much greater. So I think human design and gene keys are constructs that with the application really do give you wisdom, and they can't teach you wisdom. You have to experience it by applying the knowledge, and that is what's made it such a blessing for me in my life. You are uniquely designed and uniquely the way you are, and you got to live in your own accord, and from that's where the magic comes. That's where the idea for the podcast, the idea for a product, what you're called to do, there is something so much greater. Society says you need to go and become a super doctor or a super lawyer or a super mother or a super parent or something. In reality, there's something much deeper that's often behind and guiding all of this. And so once I started to follow that and listen, it gave me a lot of peace and a lot of passion, because we're unique, man. We're here to have fun. And so don't stay stuck. You don't need to. Listen to that calling, listen to your heart. It will show you the magic, and that's the purpose of your life, is to remember the magic and to remember that this thing is this beautiful, wonderful, sacred playground we get to play with only for a little bit of time. So quit your shitty job.